What if I told you the greatest pitcher in history never played Major League Baseball? That he struck out the biggest names in the sport, blindfolded, and did it with only 3 teammates by his side. This man was banned for being too good. He faced down world champions, dictators, and even prison inmates. He wasn't just a pitcher, he was a one-man army in cleats. Yet most people have never heard his name. This is the mind-blowing story of Eddie Feigner, the man Sports Illustrated called the most underrated athlete of all time. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why. But before we proceed, tap that bell icon to get notified every time we drop a new chapter of trending or vintage curveball. Born in Walla Walla, Washington, Eddie wasn't a product of fancy training programs or professional leagues. He was a U.S. Marine with a cannon for an arm and the kind of pinpoint control that defied belief. But what set him apart wasn't just talent, it was vision. Most people don't know that Eddie Feigner's early life was marked by hardship and uncertainty. Abandoned at birth, he grew up without the stability many children take for granted. His adopted mother, a deeply religious woman, raised him in a strict environment. Because of this, Eddie did not have the typical American childhood experience. He wasn't aware of Major League Baseball or many aspects of common American culture that most kids learn early on. This unique upbringing set him apart from other athletes, but also meant he faced challenges in understanding the world around him. Throughout his life, Eddie battled mental health struggles. At various points, he was admitted to psychiatric wards, and he even attempted suicide. These dark moments reflected the internal turmoil he endured, which contrasted sharply with the image of the confident and unbelievable athlete he later became. But an unforgettable moment came when Eddie finally located and reunited with his biological mother as an adult. This reunion gave him a new sense of identity and closure about his past. Finding his roots helped him reconcile with the abandonment he experienced early in life. After this reunion, Eddie was able to turn his life around, channeling his energy into his athletic career and personal growth. While most athletes were content with playing the game the traditional way, Eddie dared to do something radical. In 1946, still in the shadow of World War II, he shared an idea that made even his closest friends shake their heads. He thought of forming a 4-man softball team to beat 9-man teams across the country. It sounded absurd, but Eddie didn't flinch. He believed, and so he acted. He called his team the King and the Court. The name was bold, part circus, part royalty, and entirely unforgettable. The lineup was even bolder. Eddie on the mound, a catcher, a first baseman, and a shortstop. No outfielders, no bench, no safety net. What they lacked in numbers, they made up for in brilliance. Eddie's performance was pure theater. He could pitch behind his back, between his legs, even blindfolded. And he could still strike batters out with laser-like precision. What fans thought might be a stunt turned out to be one of the most electrifying spectacles in sports. The early games were humble. County fairs, local sandlots, military bases. But every game felt bigger than life. In one defining moment during their earliest days, the King and his court faced a seasoned regional championship team. Spectators came expecting comedy, maybe even a blowout against the 4-man underdogs. Instead, they witnessed a clinic. Eddie struck out all 19 batters in 7 innings. Not a single hit. Some players couldn't even make contact with the ball. It wasn't a gimmick. It was domination. From there, the legend grew. Town by town, state by state, every stop added another layer to the myth. Crowds swelled, reporters chased the story, and teams lined up to challenge the court. Eddie met them all with confidence and charisma. Pitch after pitch, win after win, he transformed softball from a neighborhood game into a national stage of awe. They began calling him the magician on the mound. And for good reason. He didn't just pitch, he performed. And no one could do it like him. There was even a defining moment in 1950 when they defeated the reigning champions from Toronto, proving they were more than just a novelty act. They also competed in major tournaments, including the prestigious National Softball Congress Finals in 1953. Loving this story so far? Make sure to hit that subscribe button and stick with us here on Curveball TV. There's plenty more to come. The Reign of the King. As Eddie Feigner and the King and his court gained traction, their fame soared to incredible heights. What began as a bold experiment with 4 players transformed into a global sensation. First official game for his new team was nothing short of remarkable. Feigner struck out nearly every batter they faced, astonishing spectators with his unmatched pitching prowess. Organizing games and building a following required more than just talent. Feigner took on the enormous task of writing over 3,000 letters to clubs, organizations, and venues across the country in hopes of arranging a national tour. This grassroots efforts demonstrated his dedication and belief in the unique appeal of his team. Despite his efforts, the early tour was a failure. The team struggled to attract audiences, and Feigner's family faced severe financial hardship. There were moments when it seemed his dream might collapse under the weight of reality. But perseverance paid off. In a dramatic turn of events, the final game of that first tour unexpectedly drew over 4,000 spectators, a huge turnout that revitalized the team's prospects. This breakthrough led to a promoter stepping in to support and arrange their next tour, helping transform their underdog story into a successful enterprise. Over time, the King and his court grew in popularity and stature. They faced and defeated world champion teams with only 4 players, often pitching blindfolded to add to the spectacle. This blend of unmatched skill and showmanship captivated audience and established Eddie Feigner's team as a unique and celebrated fixture in the world of softball. The team became known not just for winning, but for the flair and showmanship in which they played. Feigner's pitching was the heart of the performance. He could throw a softball at speeds exceeding 100 miles per hour with mind-boggling accuracy. His signature trick pitches and the team's entertaining antics made every game a spectacle. The team's uniqueness drew in massive crowds, making them one of the most entertaining sports attractions of their time. Their fame extended far beyond the local diamond. The King and his court toured over 100 countries and played before millions of fans. They were invited to perform at military bases, international venues, and major sporting events, often acting as unofficial ambassadors of American sportsmanship and entertainment. His growing list of achievements included striking out legendary Major League Baseball players such as Willie Mays, Roberto Clemente, and Brooks Robinson during a charity game. Feigner and his team emerged not only as champions on the field, but as a force of entertainment that transcended the game itself. Their appeal was magnetic, drawing comparisons to the legendary Harlem Globetrotters, not just for their skill, but for the joy they brought to the crowds. Wherever they played, people packed the stands not merely to witness strikeouts and home runs, but to laugh, cheer, and marvel at the blend of athleticism and showmanship. It wasn't long before others tried to capture the magic. Inspired by the overwhelming popularity of the King and his court, imitator teams began to surface. Names like Prince and his Knights and Queen and her Maids popped up, borrowing the royal motif and the formula of blending sports with spectacle. Their popularity caught the attention of the media in a big way. In the 1950s, newsreels regularly featured clips of Eddie performing his signature tricks. At the peak of his career, Feigner had played in over 10,000 games and amassed a record that stunned the sports world. Over 141,000 batters struck out, fewer than 1,500 hits allowed, and only 1 home run ever hit against him. He also added first-team All-American honors to his accolades, confirming his position as one of the most formidable softball players of his era. As time went on, Fener's extraordinary talent led him to being banned from national championships because he was simply too good. After one championship game where his team won 33-0, the organizers decided to bar him from competing to keep the competition fair. Undeterred, they even practiced by playing against inmates in a prison, showcasing Fener's relentless drive to improve and innovate. Legacy and impact. Eddie Fener's legacy lives on far beyond the softball field. His life was not just a tale of athletic excellence, but one of vision, perseverance, and the ability to turn adversity into opportunity. What he built with the King and his court wasn't just a team. It was a movement that inspired generations of athletes, dreamers, and performers. His story resonated with anyone who had ever been told you're not good enough, showing them that sometimes the best response is to create your own stage when none is offered to you. Eddie Fener passed away in 2007, but his story remains a masterclass in turning rejection into reinvention. His records, showmanship, and unrelenting pursuit of excellence still echo through the fields where young athletes now play. His jersey and glove rest in the Smithsonian Institution, a symbol of a life that challenged norms and entertained millions. Fener showed the world that being different isn't a weakness, it's a strength waiting to be unleashed. If you've ever felt overlooked, underestimated, or rejected, let this story be a powerful reminder. You don't need a spotlight to shine. You can build your own stage and let the world catch up. For more inspiring stories like this, don't forget to subscribe to Curveball TV. Hit that like button and share the video to keep the algorithm working in our favor. See you next time.